Welcome back. We're starting today's practice on our back. So find a nice long spine, bent knees, soles of the feet connected to your mat, to the earth, and part your arms out to a T. Let your feet rest heavy with the weight of your shins, your knees, and let your femur drop into your hip bones. And notice where your body feels open and what stories are playing in the background of your mind. That's a typical haunting of the first part of practice, is learning where to leave the external and to relax control, really. I think that's the thing, is when we constantly think about something, we think we're controlling it in some way, but we're really just assigning energy to it that maybe needs to be neutral. And then we create these charged experiences in our life that without all this extra thought that went into them, maybe wouldn't hold such a charge. So for yourself right now, just ask yourself, where am I hanging on to and directing thoughts where I really don't have any control? Or maybe my thoughts towards it are negative and are hurting me before the experience actually happens. If I could let it go and just know that there is trust in me that what needs to happen will happen, and my thoughts are not helping me. They're keeping me away from my body and away from healing and away from being completely and totally me. And take a full breath in at center here. Fill your entire belly. And as you empty out, slow drop your knees over to the left. Slow, slow, slow. You can breathe in again, and even in this time, just continue to drop so slow. Feel the tug and the pull through the right side body. Massage of your left glute. The pressing forward of your knees away from your body. Completely, totally present with all sensation. And to think, oh, I don't want to be present with sensation. How does this serve me? Let me go back to my thoughts of ruminating and brewing on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. We're training our bodies to be in a state of adrenaline, of fight or flight, and attributing all resources that heal us to our inner dialogue, which isn't even true or happening. Strong belly, so core engagement, knees come back through center with your inhale. And over to the right with your exhale. You may need to realign your hips slightly. And I'm going to leave you with your body here. Watch how many times you leave it to go back into that thought pattern. That's where you feel safe. If you could start to quiet it or distance yourself from it, become the seer, the observer. It loses its grip over time. Lots of belly strength, abdominal strength here, pulling up from inside of the pubic bone, and then draw the knees to center. Shift or align your hips, whatever you need to do, and then slowly start to move side to side, picking up the pace as you go, but still being very mindful of what's happening in your low back, because although this doesn't seem like much is happening, there's a pretty big twist going on for your spine, so you want to not make this a race. You want to be present as you move through these different directions for your spine. And then completing your last side here. Back through center. Hug your heels as tight into your sit bones as you can. Lengthen the back of your neck, so that means like pulling your chin down towards your throat, but not enough to make you stop breathing or make it uncomfortable. We'll lengthen the tail towards the heels and then bring your arms alongside and turn your palms down. Use your next exhale to slightly lift the hips away from your mat. So lots of energy down through your feet and just a slight lift of your hips away from your mat. And then softly drop. Bring your hips up a little higher this time, a little more engagement, still lots of energy through the feet, pressing forward through the knees. So this is driving forward, and then relax, hips come down. Next one, let's take our hips as high as we can. Hips travel up, heart lifts up, then draw the shoulder blades in tight to the spine, and then press your knuckles towards your heels. Keep squeezing, lifting, pressing forward with the knees and down through the heels. It's a bit of a game changer for your bridge. Relax your bind, soften your hips down. Hug your knees over top of your heart and rock on your low spine from side to side. Keep your knees up as high as they are. So knees trying to be right over top of the heart. Part your arms and then let your knees fall to the left. And if you landed somewhat funny, you might need to shift your hips over slightly to the right and then drop to the left. Keeps the spine in alignment. I'm liking this. It's a little bit more of a stretch through my right armpit, side chest. And strong, strong, strong core engagement. So it's a little bit of a sneaky core coming in. Knees hug towards the heart. And you're going to roll onto your back, bringing your knees back over top of your heart. And then just as high, dropping them over to the right. And we'll come back through center, knees hug to the heart, arrive at center, plant your feet down, bring your arms back alongside body, put your palms down, hug your heels in. If you have a grip of your ankles and you want to go into bridge like that, you can lift your hips while grabbing your ankles, pressing your knees forward, and then maybe taking the opposite bind here. So whatever you can do, get your hips as high as you can, and then take a bind if it's available, and if not, be where you are. Everything is working for us. As long as we're paying attention, being mindful, being present, not worrying about if Melanie forgot me in the posture, I'm in it too. We're all here. Take your last 3 breaths. I said 3, I know. And then you can relax down to the earth. Whoo-wee. So this is option to take bridge again, or try a little bit deeper of a back bend. Maybe you want to play with what wheel will feel like. We've done quite a bit of twisting, but if you feel really cold, I would suggest a little bridge. If you feel warm enough to get into wheel, you can bring your elbows up and turn your fingers in towards your shoulders. And I'm not going to go all the way into wheel because I don't feel warm enough. I haven't done any sun salutations or anything. And I'm just wanting to play with what it feels like to get on the top of my head maybe. So fingers towards the shoulders, elbows up, and then hips lift. And my gaze is going to start to turn towards me as I press up onto the top of my head. And that's all I'm doing for today. And I'm coming back down. So little bridge, last breath, wheel, last breath, and all the way back down. Hug your knees over top of your heart. Maybe happy baby, knees outside rib cage, hands pressing into the feet, heels stacked over knees, and tailbone heavy to the earth. And one last twist to unwind. Right thigh over top of left, hips shift over to the right, and knees fall to the left. You gaze maybe up or over your right shoulder. And you have the option here to take a little bit more of a back bend if you reach for your bottom foot. So the left foot you can grab with your right hand if you'd like to have a back bend. Even deeper of a back bend, left hand to right ankle for a full cattail. Wherever you are, releasing and coming back into neutral. Dropping both feet on your mat, crossing left thigh over right. Hips to the left, knees to the right. Staying in twisted root or reaching opposite hand for opposite ankle. And relaxing. When you're ready, bring yourself back to center and relax both legs long on your mat. I'm well off my mat, I think. Maybe not. Both legs go long. Feel the release through your hip flexors. And to release the front of the hip flexor, if you'd like, we could do a lift with our hands. So you could take left palm and place it underneath right glute, right palm and place it underneath left, or, left glute, left hand, right glute, right hand. And so this is a pretty good internal rotation of the shoulders and a nice gentle lift of the hips, and maybe even thinking about tucking the pubic bone up towards the sky, creating more length through your hip crease, an opening happening where we've been in forward folds and lots of yoga poses compressing so much into the hip crease. It's an opportunity to let it go. And maybe as you release this posture, you think about what you left behind you at the beginning of practice and what it felt like to be without it for the last few minutes. And if the world is still here, if maybe that's something that you could focus on doing daily while you walk around, be more present with your body, where you are, noticing the color of the trees, the scent of the season. Take a full breath and then empty it out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.